I picked up this chest of drawers that my neighbour found abandoned on the street. I forgot to take a proper before video, but here it is. It was missing the corners on both sides of the top, and I'm not really sure why, but I had to mould new corners using high performance wood filler, then sand it down and shape it into what the old corner would have looked like. After that, I got to work on the rest of the piece. It was kind of scratched up, but not too bad, so I sanded with 120 grit sandpaper. Then I primed and painted in a dark grey paint, varnished all over, and that's how I turned this into this. I left some raw wood on the top drawers and added raw wood knobs to complement the top. A friend messaged me and said his customer was getting rid of a table and chair set and do I want it? And of course I said yes. It was not in great condition, it was old, worn, scratched, and there was heavy varnish all over which I couldn't remove by sanding. First, I needed to remove the arms of one of the chairs to match the other one, so I sawed them off, then I stripped the varnish from both the chairs. This process took 7.5 hours. This was the tabletop before I started sanding. It definitely had had better days, it was just not happy, so I sanded using 40 grit sandpaper because 80 grit did not achieve anything, then I used 80, 120 and 180 grit which achieved this. I applied wood filler in the holes and dents, then I primed and applied 2 coats of grey paint, varnished and applied wood oil to bring out the wood's natural beauty, and that is how I turned this into this. It was a lot of work, but it was so worth it. I picked up this desk for free. It was quite damaged with scratches, missing veneer, and generally needed a good refresh. The leather top had deep scratches, so I needed to remove it. After I removed it, I sanded the top to remove the rest of the leather and glue, then sanded the rest of the piece to get rid of the scratches and dents. I primed and painted in a light grey which looked like this after 2 coats, then painted a solid black line around the top to give the piece a bit of depth. I cleaned and spray painted all the hardware black, and that's how I turned this into this. I think the black hardware makes it look fierce, and I love how the light grey paint enhances the detail around the drawers, which I whitewashed to lighten the wood. So what do you think? I picked up this chest of drawers from Facebook Marketplace and it became a commission piece for a client who was in the market for a new chest of drawers. It was structurally sound but it was pretty scratched up. I started by sanding, then repaired any damage that wasn't fixed through sanding. I primed, gave it 3 coats of cream paint, varnished, changed the hardware, and that's how I turned this into this. Just wait until you see the inside of the drawers. I absolutely love how summery and bright this piece is, and my client's choice of knobs really complement the piece. I picked up this very sad mango wood sideboard for free. It was missing a door, but I had a vision for it. I sanded with 80, then 120 grit sandpaper, primed where I'd planned to paint, and gave it 2 coats of olive green paint. I wanted to add some leafy wallpaper to the top and bottom shelf to make it a little more interesting, then I varnished all over, and that's how I turned this into this. I kept the gold handle and I stripped the stain from the legs, keeping them raw wood, because I think it complements the piece so well. What do you think?